A man stands in a courtroom in Newcastle, looks the officers who spent years hunting him dead in the eye, and tells them he's about to walk out and go spend £87 million. And there is nothing, he says, that they can do to stop him. Then he does exactly that. The case against him falls apart, and he strolls out a free man, still smiling. His name is Curtis Warren, and at that moment, he's sitting right at the top of the criminal world. Then he does exactly that. But soon, this same man would go on to spend almost his whole adult life locked up in prison, and yet, even from inside a cell, the police could never fully stop him. By the end of this, you'll see how a man behind bars stayed one of the most dangerous criminals in Britain, and where a fortune big enough to put him on the Sunday Times rich list ended up vanishing. To understand Curtis, we need to go back to Toxteth, a rough part of Liverpool in the 1970s. Warren is a kid who finds trouble young. His first time in front of a judge comes when he's just 12. He's arrested during the Toxteth riots, and by 18, he's been sent to a young offenders prison. As he gets older, the crimes get bigger, and he moves into armed robbery, the kind that gets you real prison time. But when he gets out, something happens that turns everything around. He takes a job as a bouncer at a Liverpool nightclub. It sounds like nothing. It turned out to be the most important job he ever had. Working that door, deciding who got in and who didn't, Warren got a front row seat to the drug trade. He watched the dealers, learned how they worked, and saw a way in. And once he was in, he didn't think small. Most criminals back then bought their drugs through a long line of middlemen, each one taking a cut. Warren did something almost no British criminal had ever done. He went straight to the top. He flew to South America and made direct contact with the Cali cartel, the huge Colombian cocaine operation that supplied a big chunk of the world, and he cut everyone else out. That one move turned a Liverpool street kid into a global player. The money that came back was hard to even imagine. Warren got so rich that he became the only drug dealer ever to land on the Sunday Times rich list, the official list of the wealthiest people in Britain. He once bragged that he could spend tens of thousands of pounds a day and still never run out. Interpol, the international police, named him their single most wanted man in the world. That courtroom in Newcastle was Warren at the very top, walking out untouchable. The case had fallen apart for an almost unbelievable reason. His own partner in the deal turned out to be a secret police informant, which tied the whole thing in knots and let Warren slip away. But moving that many drugs needs more room to work. And in 1996, he moved over to the Netherlands to run an even bigger operation. This time, the police were ready. When Dutch officers raided him, they didn't just find drugs. They found hundreds of kilos of cocaine and heroin, more than a ton of cannabis, and next to all of it, guns and hand grenades. In 1997, he was sentenced to 12 years. Most stories would end right there. His didn't, because even locked inside one of the most secure prisons in Europe, Warren was still dangerous. In 1999, he gets into a fight in the prison yard with another inmate, a man named Semal Guklu, and he kills him. He's found guilty of manslaughter, and he's handed another 4 years on top. Prison hadn't calmed him down at all. And this is where his story gets really hard to believe. When he was finally let out in 2007 and sent back to the UK, he was a free man with a fortune supposedly waiting for him. Anyone with sense would have disappeared and enjoyed it. Warren almost straight away started planning a new drug deal. He set up a plan to flood the island of Jersey with cannabis, a shipment worth £1 million, which he was caught on a phone tap calling just a little starter. His old contacts in Amsterdam would supply the cannabis. It would be driven through Belgium and France to the coast, and fast speedboats would run it across the water to a quiet cove on the island. What he didn't know was that the police were already watching his every move. They had bugs hidden in his cars and taps on his phones, and they listened as he drove around the island in a rental car, making calls from public phone boxes. Sure, he was being careful. In 2009, he was convicted again and sentenced to 13 years. But prison couldn't really hold him in another way, too. And this part is even stranger. Warren was known for keeping his criminal world going from behind bars, using mobile phones smuggled into him, reaching the outside from inside his own cell. In one high-security prison, he started a relationship with a female prison officer and tried to talk her into sneaking contraband in for him and telling him where the security cameras were pointing. She was eventually caught and sent to prison herself. The walls could lock up his body. They could never quite lock up his reach. And then there's the money, which might be the wildest part of all. After everything, a court ordered Warren to pay back £198 million, one of the biggest orders of its kind in European history. Warren's answer was simple. He says he's broke. Even now, investigators believe a fortune is sitting out there in foreign bank accounts and properties, and they've never gotten their hands on a penny of it. Warren was famous for keeping it all in his head. No records, no paperwork, just a memory full of numbers and names that no police raid could ever take from him. So think about where that leaves him. Curtis Warren has spent most of his adult life locked away. He's been caught, found guilty, and jailed over and over in 2 countries. And yet, in the one way that mattered most to him, he beat the system. They took his freedom, but they never got the money. And not even a prison cell could fully cut him off from the world he built. When he was last released, the rules they put on him were so unusual that they tell you everything about how dangerous he's still seen to be. He was banned from using WhatsApp and banned from going near cryptocurrency, just in case. After making that much money, knowing the police are watching everything you do, why keep going back to crime again and again? Was it the money, the habit, or something he just couldn't switch off? Let me know what you think down in the comments. While you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this.